Hey, how's it going? It's Craig. I'm not in the garage, I'm in the car. We're off to Newport. Let's take a look. Okay, so I got tagged in a post on Facebook the other day. Somebody was selling off a collection of arcade parts, and I think it's a bit of a sad story to it. Genuine, I believe, as well. Somebody is selling off their dad's collection. His dad used to be a arcade repairman, and they're selling off a load of front machine parts, some MVS Neo Geo cards, and a load of PCBs. So I've got most of the Neo Geo cards already, but I'll have a look at those if they're still available, see what they've got. But the main reason I'm going to see them today is to have a look at the PCBs. So there's loads of bootlegs here. I know most of them are bootlegs by the look of it. They're ginormous boards, really big PCBs, but I've seen, I think they got 25 to 30 PCBs there. So and I've seen a couple of games just on the writing of them. Street Fighter 2 Final Fight. Hopefully Sunset Riders can really read the writing on the labels on that one. Lots of golf games, lots of football games there as well. But this guy was a repairer, so these could be his faulty stock, I don't know. So we're going out there, we're buying them. If I buy them anyway, I'm buying them untested. But I just want to go out and have a look. Newport's about 40 minutes away from me, so jumped in the car this morning, heading out there now. I'd like to buy the job lot off them just because I think I can have a look through, see what I want to keep, see what I can repair. There's loads of EPROMs and things on them, even if the boards are faulty and they're really badly beaten up. I can take some parts off them, but I'll have a look through it. I'll drive out there. I probably won't film at the location because obviously it's quite sensitive with some of these clearance, so I don't want to do that. But I'll film when I get back in the car, and then obviously when we get back to the garage I'll do a bit of an update of what we picked up as well. Alright, catch you in a bit. Okay, so as you can see behind me, I've got a car full of PCBs. Some really good games on there. They've got a bit of a scribbled list of what they could tell from the stickers, and there's some nice PCBs in there. A lot of them are bootlegs. Some I've got already. A lot of football and sports games in there, which are probably not really for me, but I can keep them in the collection for the future if I need to. But yeah, we came to a decent price, and yeah, I bought them as an untested price, so I haven't paid top whack for them, and knowing that there's a lot of bootlegs in there as well, I think the price that I paid was quite fair. They were happy with it, and I've also given them a little bit of advice on some of the PCBs they've got left. So mainly MVS carts. They've got them listed on eBay, so they had things like windjammers in there, which is a bit much for what I wanted to spend today on a single cart. And I said, look, that cart is probably worth 80 to 100 pound these days, I think windjammers goes for. So that whole collection of MVS carts is probably, I'd say, 150 to 200 pounds. So I didn't want to spend that additional on top of what I've spent on these today. Next thing to do is get back to the garage, unload all these, have a look through them, put them in a tidy order. They're thrown in boxes at the moment. Could be caps bent off, could be anything on them. So I'm going to get them back to the garage, put them in a little bit of decent storage, maybe clean them up, and then maybe do a video by video of each board just to go through them and test them, see if they work. So yeah, let's get them back to the garage and have a look. Cool, catch you in a sec. Okay, so I'm back in the garage and it's the next day and we've not even gone through these boards properly yet. I've had a quick scan through them. I've got this list off the seller that tells me some of the games that's in here. Some of them got copy next to it, some of them got the arcade manufacturer's name next to it. So hopefully we got some original games in there as well. But for the money I paid on it, if they're all bootleg, then it's not a problem because I paid a decent amount for them. They're all untested, so again, we've got to test them at some point. I've got one of these cheapy super guns, so this is a AliExpress job. It's got a SCART output on there, it's got RGB output, two D9s I think they're called, for the connectors off the Neo Geo control pad, so that's okay. Power input, but there's no voltage adjustment on this, so if it's 5 volts it's 5 volts, if it's not, you've got to deal with it. Works fine for the MVS, but it won't work for all the for the Jamma boards that I've got here, so need to have a look whether I buy a better one or make one myself. They're only simple to make. You're literally using a Jamma connector which goes onto the board, wires coming off that to control pads or to control pad connectors, and then yeah, some kind of video output and a power supply, like a PC power supply. So nothing too hard to build, but I might see if I can buy a small compact one like a PCB one, a little bit more expensive, higher range one, just to test them out. But yeah, we'll see. I don't want to fry any boards using that one, but I'll test the voltage on it first. If I feel that it's stable enough, I might test some boards on it in the future, but ultimately I need something a little bit more robust. So first of all, let's go through all of the boards, see what we've got in here. I'm not going to test anything today. I'm literally just going to have a visual inspection, try and identify what they are, whether they are legit boards by the manufacturer, whether they're bootlegs or whether I just can't tell. So I'll put a little counted up over on the side just so you can see how many boards we've got, because I honestly don't know how many I've got in total. I'm surrounded by them at the moment. They're all wrapped in bubble wrap, or mostly wrapped in bubble wrap. Never know with bubble wrap and PCBs, I never know what you're meant to be doing with it. I know you can buy anti-static bubble wrap and you can get the motherboard bags, the anti-static bags as well, but obviously these boards are all shapes and sizes. You're going to see that in a second. So yeah, never know what I'm meant to do. And the next thing then is find somewhere in my garage to store all this stuff, because I've got no room left. I'm literally out of space. So I am selling at a game event in a couple of weeks time, but it's not going to make a huge difference on the amount of space I've got. So I'm going to see if I can make a rack or something to go underneath the pinball machine or somewhere out of the way for now. So yeah, wish me luck on that one. Okay, so let's get stuck into the boards. I've got them everywhere around me. I've got one big one in front of me and then a pile next to me like a stocking on Christmas. So we're going to go through them, have a look what the connections are like, have a look what the board conditions like, have a look at everything on them, try and identify them to see what they are. And I don't know, it's not about the value for me, it's more about whether I've got some games for my collection and I can move some others on that people might want to play on. So let's have a look what we've got, because I know the first two I've had a look at already, only because they were pretty much unwrapped on the system, on the box. So I've had a look at these quickly, and it's two Neo Geo SNK 1-slot boards. I play my 1-slot on the TV, and yeah, it's a great setup. I've got a separate super gun for mine, which I've shown you, which has got these D9, D19 connectors on them. I don't know why they're on the board on this one. I really don't know the difference between it. It's got a speaker slider on the front here and a headphone slider for these outputs, I'm assuming. I generally change the UniBIOS chip on here, so we have a new BIOS on there, and there's a battery under here which I'll change out as well and give everything a clean. Maybe the caps, just to make it future proof, but they look in decent condition at the moment. So yeah, there's not many on there, so I could probably change them quite quickly. But otherwise, that's a really cool start to the pickup. As I said, I've got two of these in pretty much identical condition. PCBs on the bottom are really nice and clean. No battery leakage, which is always a bonus. And original SNK, so chalking up two on the leaderboard for two original boards, so that's a pretty good start. Next up, I'll do this big one that's in front of me. A big board always means to me that it's either a really early board or it's a bootleg, and I know what this board is because I've seen this in the photos originally, and it's a bootleg of Street Fighter 2. So I've not tested this one yet. Very dusty. I'm going to be stinking dirty, as I said, touching these boards. And probably cut my finger on some of these backs of these chips because they're sharp. It's got quite a few marks down here. I don't know whether that's just dirt or whether it's scratches. I'm not going to go into too much detail at the moment, so I'll have a look at those again. But other than that, just that bottom corner on the back looks a bit grubby. Everything else on the front looks pretty decent. So Street Fighter 2, don't know what version it is. It says Street Fighter 2 AMR. I can't even think of a version of Street Fighter 2 that would have AMR as the title on it, so I'm not sure what that is. So I'm just going to pop these down here out of the way so I've got it safe. I'm going to have to go through all of these and try and find somewhere to store them in a bit, so I'm not going to go to too much effort wrapping them all back up because I'll be doing that again later. Right, next board. So Street Fighter 2 bootleg goes on the board over here. Next board is, I would say, another bootleg, and I know this one as well. This one's on the list, and it's another one that was one that I really wanted. So this is a bootleg of Final Fight. Board is in decent condition. It's got a couple of scuffs on the back. Yeah, a couple of scuffs where traces could be broken. So we'll have a look at those after, when we get into having a look at it. It's got a bit of like a watermark or something there. But I'm going to say this one's not working, only because on the front of the board we've got all these EPROMs. So these EPROMs are reprogrammable chips for your computers or whatever else, and for the PCBs themselves. These are what you play if you're playing MAME or an emulated version of Street Fighter 2. This is a game basically, and that's what goes onto all these chips. And these little windows ideally should be covered over, because they're rewritable, so they get erased by UV light, and that could be the sun, it could be just the room light that you've got, but also that you can put a UV reader, a UV light over the top of it and erase them and write to them again. So they're reusable. We could look at reprogramming all these. I think there's some up here as well, but we'd have to know what ROM is on there and everything else. So we'll see if we can get this working. It might boot up, honestly don't know, but if it doesn't, then hopefully we'll be able to reprogram those ROMs and go from there, see if there's any other damage on there. So yeah, a bootleg board over on the score counter, tally counter on the side. This one, Flak Attack by Konami. So this is an original board, really nice. So I think we're on 50-50 for original versus bootleg at the moment. I don't think it's going to stay like that. I think we'll end up with more bootleg just generally, because that's how it was in the UK. Original Konami board in okay condition. You can see it's obviously a newer game. Look how small it is. Konami started using these custom chips and everything else, and processors and stuff. So if this chip goes, you've had it. This game is gone. But it's in fair condition. It's missing a corner of the PCB up here. Not a problem. I don't think it's taken anything with it. It hasn't taken any traces out or anything else. Quite close to a chip, but nothing too bad. Yeah, fingers crossed that should work, because I think that is a Flak Attack. I can't remember whether I played it or not. I think it's a vertical shoot 'em up, but obviously fairly new. So I'm guessing Flak Attack would be early 90s, 90. I would say 93. I'll have a look on screen. I'll put it down under the bottom of the video now if anywhere near when 93 was when it was made. Next board, quite a heavy one. Let's have a look what it is. Okay, it's nice and clean on this side. Nice looking board. Dual layer PCB. Bit of a bow in it. Nothing too bad on that top board. Or the bottom one. Oh no, they are quite bowed actually, aren't they? Generally doesn't matter too much on there as long as it hasn't damaged anything. The dusty boards are probably going to be needing a cleanup. I would say this, well, this is a bootleg, but I don't know what of. So there's no indication on this at all of what it is. So yeah, everything looks like it's in a decent condition. All the ROMs are in place and seem solid and clean. So yeah, unknown bootleg, so we'll put that one down as an unknown, and we'll come back to that again and test it in the future. Could be a great game, you just don't know what is on there because there's no labels or anything. Some of them got labels on the bubble wrap, but I never know what to do, and I'm going to replace all this I think anyway. I'm going to get rid of all of this bubble wrap, find some anti-static bags or something that I can put them in eventually. Let me know if you do have any ideas on what to store them in, because really welcome that. Next board is another bootleg, I'm going to say. Switch A, B and C for the dip switches. I don't know what this is. Okay, back of the board has got like a nice matte finish to it. It's got a jumper wire across from some of the edge connectors, and seems like there's been a bit of work done around here somewhere on the other side of that pin. So whether there's something scuffed it or something's happened in the past. Yeah, I don't know whether that looks like an SF written on there. Could be another Street Fighter board, different shaped board. Okay, another unknown bootleg. So yeah, we'll scratch that up as a bootleg as well, and we'll see what we get to with that one. Okay, next up, I'm going to try and rattle through these as quick as I can because there's bloody loads. Don't actually know how many are in here. I was told 25 to 30. Okay, so I knew this one was in here, and I'm hoping, and it is, I've just seen it already, that this is an original. So, got the sheet inside of it, dip switch settings, and the pin layout for the Jamma connector, so we'll keep that inside actually. That's a good way of doing it. This is an original Technos Double Dragon. So Technos is the manufacturer down here, printed on the board on the PCB. I've got a Double Dragon PCB already. I've got a Double Dragon bootleg version, and I think that cost me anywhere between 50 and 80 pound, I think, for the bootleg. So if this and those two Neo Geos work, I think I'm on to breaking even with my money for what I paid for all of these games. So this is the one that I'd really want. If this was like working, I'd be over the moon. Double Dragon is a funny PCB, as in that it likes a -5 volt input for the audio, and on my bootleg one I'm not getting any audio, so it could be that my cabinet's not giving me a proper -5 volts, or it could be that it's broken. So we'll test this one in a bit. That's one I'm really keen to test, because I think I can get that running in my cabinet and I'll be over the moon. I'm going to wrap that one up nice and neat, because that's a nice game, very nice game. Okay, so Double Dragon, so I'll score that up as an original PCB. Really chuffed with that one. Next is, okay, don't know what this one is. Oh, it's got a piece of paper in there, that's going to be good. Oh, I can see what it is straight away. It's got it written on the board like the couple of other games have. Okay, so it's a Twin Cobra, a game I've not played much at all. It's a 3-layer PCB, and I don't know whether that's an original or a bootleg. It's got the word space on that PCB there. I don't know who made the Twin Cobra. It's got a new processor on there. It's had work done on it in the past by the look of it, but very nicely done. Yeah, space branding on both or two of the boards I can see, maybe on the third. It's got the dip switch pin outs and everything else in there. There's the information sheet as well. Don't know. I'll put that as an unknown, but Twin Cobra. So that's pretty cool. Another one. Just wrap that up quickly. Popping down here. Next one. Big blue bubble wrap. No, can't get them out the bag. Wow, that's a heavy PCB. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 PCBs on there in total. That is a hell of a bootleg, and it's dusty as hell. It's making me itch. No indication of what it is. Got a Molex connector connecting the power across it, so obviously quite a power intense game. I have no idea what this is. I'm going to put this down as a bootleg only because I can't identify if it's an original or not. I would say this is a fairly modernish game. I would say it's based on the Capcom CPS 1 type game, just because of the type of layouts of the chips, but I'm totally guessing at that. Yeah, another unknown bootleg, so we'll scratch that one up as an unknown. Itchy. Next up, a mini PCB. I like these ones. A mini ones always say to me that it's more modern or it's an original. So this one says on the sticker, Namco Classic Pac-Man Compendium. Okay, so it's an original Namco board. So we've got an original Namco, and it's in really nice condition. The edge connector needs a little bit of a clean up. It's starting to corrode a little bit. No scratches, very dirty,
Looks like it's had some kind of water damage or something to it in the past. Oh no, it's the bubble wrap. The bubble wrap's left loads of marks on the back of it. Yeah, it looks in really good condition. I'm not sure what the second connector's for. So obviously that's your Jamma connector. I don't know what that one's for. J2, so I'll have to have a look up, see if I can get the manual for this board. But because it's an original, we should be able to get that quite nice and easy. NCS20E, NCS201E, NCS1 sub. So it's got ROMs on there. I don't know whether they've been changed since the factory. Namco Classic S2. Don't know. Anyway, guessing at that. So yeah, hopefully a Pac-Man board. I don't have a vertical monitor set up out here for Pac-Man and things like that, but I've got one in the living room in the house, but that's running a different board in there, so we can test that out anyway. But that's pretty cool. Love a good bit of Pac-Man. That's one game I would love to have the original cabinet for, is a Pac-Man. Next game, I'm going to say giant bootleg. We haven't scratched that one up. Pac-Man is an original. You get that on the list as well on the right. Okay, so another bootleg. All the ROM chips are covered, all these windows are covered, which is amazing to see. Gives me a little bit more confidence over that final fight. We've got a bit of a scratch on it there, so that would be one of my first ones to go to if I got to reprogram anything. PCB looks in decent condition, no major scratches or marks on it. Edge connector's really corroded along here. Generally, this is how a lot of the PCBs are going to be, I think. So another bootleg, so put that up as a bootleg, unknown. Next one, another giant board with some blue bubble. Back of the PCB looks mint, very nice condition. And front of the PCB, couple of windows on show from the EPROMs. These always say to me that it's a game with extra buttons or 4 players, so the extra connections on there is always a good sign that it's something like it could be anything, but let's totally guess that this is a 4-player game of, oh god, I've got to sneeze. Bloody hell. 4-player game. 4-player game, I don't know what. I would love it. If that was a Turtles 4-player, I'd be over the moon. I don't think I'm that lucky. I had an original Turtles back when I had my original PCB collection, and I sold it off for way below what it's worth these days. So yeah, we'll scratch that up as an untested, unknown bootleg. Not unknown, bootleg, because it's not got, that's definitely a bootleg. Okay, into the big box now. I'm going to have to start speeding up, otherwise we're going to be here all day. Next one is, oh god, that dust is really getting to me today. Okay, so I don't know what this is. It doesn't look like a bootleg. It's Konami board. Okay, so that's a Konami board. It did say on that list there was a Sunset Riders in there. This could very well be Sunset Riders. Reason I'm saying that is it's got an extra couple of connectors up here, which could be for the 4-player setup, and it's Konami. I've got an original Sunset Riders down in my collection, and I think one of these chips has gone on it. So I think one of the chips has gone because I only get half a sprite, so half a character appears and you've got no body or torso on him. We'll get that battery changed out. It's just a single tab battery, so it's CR2032. We'll change that out as well. It looks in really good condition. So another branded original Konami board. So fingers crossed that is the Sunset Riders that was hopefully in this collection. Again, Sunset Riders is one of my grail games. If I can get that working, I'll be very happy, and I can, yeah, tick that off my list, because I got one, as I said, faulty. If I can get one working between the two of them, I'll sell the others as spares. So yeah, fingers crossed we'll get a working Sunset Riders at the end of all this, but that'll be very hopeful. Next game, so that's an original Sunset Riders or Konami board anyway. This one I'm going to put down, oh, this is the same as that other one, isn't it? So it's another space board. It's got space up here, down here. Oh, it's got some horrible gunk around here somewhere. Not looking good, that's disgusting. So that needs cleaning up, and yeah, I don't know what they've done there. All the ROMs are covered. I wouldn't know what it is, no guess at all. Unknown bootleg, or unknown, unbranded, unknown. So I'm not going to call it a bootleg because I don't know what that space brand is, whether they used to manufacture for others, I'm not sure. So we'll call that as an unknown. I don't know whether that's a bootleg or not. Right, next up, double PCB. Let's have a look what this is. Okay, another bootleg, I'm guessing. Nothing on there to identify what it is. Back is looking pretty clean, nothing too bad on there. Edge connector not too bad, bit of corrosion around one or two of the pins. ROMs are all covered, and they're original ROMs, so I'm not sure. They're not EEPROMs, so they haven't been rewritten. A lot of the chips have SEI on them. Right, it says on here, I don't know whether this is just a chip that's on here, Raiden 1990, so this could be Raiden, the game 1990 from there. So it's literally on this chip here, and it just says Raiden 1990. So Raiden's a shoot 'em up. Really great game actually. My brother used to have, and I had it in the arcade machines when we had arcade games when we were younger. Raiden 2. I don't think I've ever played Raiden 1 other than emulated. I don't think I've ever played it in an arcade. There is a bit of scratches along here as well on the PCB. A couple of surface scratches that could have affected some of the traces. Okay, so yeah, that'd be nice. That's a Raiden. I'm going to put that as an unknown. I think that could be an original. But let's put it down as an unknown at the moment because I can't confirm exactly what that game is. But yeah, cool, that could be Raiden. That's a nice game. Okay, next one. This one says EuroLeague on a sticker on the back of it. Football game. I don't know how much I can even be bothered unwrapping football games, to be honest. PCB looks in decent condition. On with it. It's got a little tab on it as well. No, keep at 4.75 volts. Okay, so that's what I was saying about these little Jamma super guns type things. They don't have a 5 volt adjuster on it, and this board obviously needs to run at 4.75 volts to get it running reliable. A little bit of cleanup needed on the back of it, but other than that, pretty decent condition, not too bad. Yeah, football game, we shall see. If it's working, it won't be at the top of the list for me to repair or work on, but there we go. We'll see what it's like. Maybe one I'll have a blast on. I do enjoy some arcade football games, but not the top of my list to play on. Okay, so I had a phone call and I've lost track of exactly where I am. I think I'm on this board, but if not, I'll crop out the previous part of this. So this is another bootleg, and this one I knew was in the pile because I remember seeing it on the list, and it says POW, Prisoner of War, and I think that is 100% a bootleg. It's got, maybe not, I don't know, PW3444. I'll put this in as an unknown, I think, on my tally, only because it's got that serial label type thing there. It's got no brand mark on it. I don't know who made Prisoner of War. Was that a Capcom game as well? Don't know. Anyway, nice condition PCB, all original ROMs as well, so they're not rewritten ROMs, they're written once. So I think, yeah, let's keep it as an unknown. I'm not going to say it's an original because I don't think it is, but yeah, let's keep that one as an unknown. Move on to the next one, see what we've got. Prisoner of War is a good game though. It's like a side-scrolling beat 'em up, similar to Double Dragon type, but obviously you're a prisoner of war trying to escape or get out of there. So next board is, alright, this one's got a sticker on it. It says World Cup 90. Have we done one of them, or was it that different football game earlier? Okay, another bootleg, I believe, World Cup 90. Good condition, no scratches or anything on the back, all looking good. And all the ROMs look pretty much in place. A couple of scratches on some of the little stickers on them, but the original ROMs are not EPROMs. They're not written. Oh no, they had EPROMs. Some are, some aren't. Yeah, so good condition. Probably a bootleg. Put that as a bootleg. I'm not going to say is that going to work. I'm going to say that's going to boot, personally, when we get to testing that one out. Right, next board, small board. Always gives me a little bit of confidence that it's an original, but is it? No branding on it, but I would say, well, there's one hell of a scratch on the back there. I'm not going to touch anything now. I'll continuity test that when we get around to testing this one. Pin edge connector looks good. It looks too much of a nice condensed board to be a bootleg, if I'm totally honest. AMD processor, Z84, all decent chips and everything on here. 11th of the 8th 1993 sticker on there. I'm going to say unknown. I'm not going to say that's a bootleg. I'm not going to say that's an original. I'm bordering on original for that one, but I don't know what it is, so could be just a really nice looking bootleg. Next up, right, it is like going through your stocking at Christmas, isn't it? I love it. Right, big mark across the back straight away, going diagonally across there. I think it's just a surface mark. I'm not gonna, it doesn't rub off, so bit of a scuff, couple of other scuffs on the back. Nothing too deep, but we can have a look at that. ROMs not covered again. I don't know why they did that back then. It says World Cup, so it's another World Cup one. So the other one must have been a Euro one, was it? And then 2 World Cups I think I've got on here. There we go. So yeah, World Cup football again. Bootleg. Dubious of whether that'll boot or not, but not massively worried. Not a massive football fan, as I said, so not really worried if that boots or not. Okay, nice condensed multi-layer board. Unwrap him. Okay, this is a Capcom board, an original, and it's Magic Sword, S-W-A-R-D, not O-R-D. Magic Sword, Magic Sword up on this one. So this is I think it's a CPS1 board, isn't it? So basically these are original Capcom boards, and I think Street Fighter 2 was originally CPS1, and I think you can swap out, there's loads of empty ROMs on here, so you can swap out different boards on here and put different chips in, and you can play different Capcom games as probably a conversion rather than an original. But I'm going to say that's an original Magic Sword Capcom. Nice setup. That's really decent board actually. I can't remember whether it's Magic Sword, the platformer type game. I'm pretty sure I played it. I can't remember whether it's that one. I'm pretty sure it is. Magician type thing with your platformer. Don't know. Can't remember. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to testing that. Bloody hell, this one weighs a ton. Okay, so what is this one? Oh, I'm very, very dusty. You're going to start me sneezing again. No branding on the bottom. There's some marker pen on there, but I can't read what it says. So, some branding on the bottom, but I think no branding on there. I don't know what that says on the bottom, and pen. It's got 3 PCBs on there. A lot of uncovered ROMs, some covered. Total guess, I would say that is a bootleg, and I don't know what game. Oh, there's a little tab. WWF. Bootleg WWF. God, my ningles and fingers are disgusting off these boards. Okay, so I've got 2, the originals? Yeah, 2 original WWF games. This could be a bootleg version of that. turn my phone off a second. Or it could be another game, because they've done quite a few WWF games back then, didn't they? So yeah, cool. I like the WWF game, so I'll have a look forward to having a blast on that if that works. Next one. Okay, so we've got just a few left, so I'm going to rattle through these again faster and faster. No, it says Nano, N-A-N-A-O, and it's on the board here, and it's on this chip, and it's on another chip, and it says MT2 on a lot of the things. So I don't know what Nano is and MT2, but this looks like it's an original Major Title 2. Yeah, that's got to be it, hasn't it? Major Title 2 on a sticker up in the corner here. I'm guessing that is Major Title 2. It's probably a golf game from 2nd of the 2nd, 1995. So that's the last time I think there's a serve sticker on you. So I'm guessing that is an original golf based game. So yeah, I don't mind the golf game. I actually like the Neo Turf Masters, is one of my favourite games, playing on the MVS. So yeah, it's not a bad setup. I quite like a golf game on an arcade. Quite simple, isn't it? Next board. This one's got a sticker on it saying Golfing Greats Konami. Okay, so this one, original Konami board again. Similar to that last one that we've seen. Exactly the same board, I think. Which makes me think whether that last one was Sunset Riders or whether it's a Golfing Greats. This one says Golfing Greats, bad graphics. So that's obviously a faulty board. Yeah, maybe fixable, maybe the ROMs. There's no immediate... Oh, there is. Right, there's a whole section of traces on that bottom of that board, which are exposed to all the what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. The protection that goes over the top of the traces. I'll put it in on here now. Bloody hell, what is it called? Anyway, I can't remember it. The original Konami board, so hopefully that's worth saving one way or another, whether for this the chips or for getting it up and running if it's not running already. So Golfing Greats, but it says it's got graphics issue, so whether it's that traces on the bottom or there's something else, don't know. Next board, last maybe 6 I'm saying. Okay, so this one, again another original Capcom board. So this is a Capcom, and I think this may have been a conversion at some point, because this says Pang 3 on all of those chips, which is good. I like Pang. Pang's a good game. Pang 3 I don't remember. There's a little bit of brown marks on the bottom of the board. No, well, there's a couple of bits which are a bit dodgy on the bottom of the board and need a bit of a clean up and continuity testing. But the rest of it looks pretty good. I'm wondering whether that and the... what did we have earlier? The other CPS board, Magic Sword, whether they're similar in their setups. Okay, anyway, it's all good. So we'll have a look at that one. I'm not sure what the second connector is on that one. I'll have to have a look what that is for. But yeah, not bad condition, and another original board, another Capcom board. Nice, we're doing alright for the originals. I thought there was going to be more bootlegs than originals. I think hopefully the counter on the side's keeping up, and we'll see how we end up on it. But okay, this one I think is going to change it. This one feels like a bootleg just by the weight on it. Yeah, so no markings on this at all. Typical bootleg board. No markings, no description, no piece of paper tucked inside telling me what it is. Yeah, unknown bootleg. So we'll test that at some point as well. Okay, let's put that down there. Get through them, get through them, get through them. I want this video to be an hour. I want it to be as quick as we can. Right, original board. I can see a label on it already. It is an original Data East, and I have no idea what game it is. No label on here. It's an original Data East, and it says Data East 0333-2, and No idea at all. Anyone got an idea of what this board is? In pretty decent condition, all looking good. Original Database board. Nice. Okay, put that one aside. I'm running out of space on the side of me now. Next board. Is this an original? Is it a bootleg? Gold Star. Chips are not giving anything away. It's a fairly neat one if it is a bootleg. I'm going to say unknown on this one. I don't know whether it's a bootleg or whether it's an original. Again, a couple of scratches on the traces on the bottom of the board that need looking at before we try and boot this. Everything's going to get a clean up and a bit of a check over before we even plug it into a Jamma connection. But yeah, I don't know whether this is an original or a bootleg, and no indication of what game it is. Rasco Plus, is that a clock? Yeah, no idea on that one, so I'm going to put that as an unknown. And untested, unknown game, unknown whether it's a original or a bootleg, don't know on that one. Next one, okay, we got some labels on this one. Okay, Grand Striker by Human. So I have no idea what that is. I'm guessing football game by the name. Human, I've never heard of that company, so I'm assuming they are a license of a Human Amusements, it says. Did they license games off of somebody else? Is that another game, Grand Striker? Yeah, we'll see on that, but I'm going to put that down as an original, because even if it is a license, it's still an original license board in that way. Right, next one. This one says World Rally on it, and I think this is a World Rally because I've already got one myself. Yeah, so this is a Glico World Rally. Great game. My Glico World Rally is exactly the same as this. This chip here, you need to take this off as a cover. That comes off, and you've got to reprogram some of this with a Raspberry Pi or something similar, because the clock goes on it or something goes on it. It's got like a suicide time on it. If it doesn't get booted up, then batteries die and things go wrong on it, and the card just flies across the screen. So I've got two of these now. I'm guessing the same issue is going to be on this one. It'll probably boot if it's in good condition, and then it's going to do the same issue. So I'll repair both of them at the same time, and one of them can go up for sale after that. That's pretty cool. And what we got? 1, 2, 3 left. Let's get through them quick. Okay, so this is a bootleg, no, original Glico board up here. So it's an original, and it says RB MO. I honestly don't know what this is. The ROMs will have RB91105 on them, version 1.0, and the board itself has RB91105A. So we'll have a look quickly at what that is, and I'll put it on over the top of this video now. But that's an original board, and we'll have a look, see if we can get that running at some point as well. Last two, let's get through them. Okay, bootleg board, Silkworm. Okay, so Silkworm, bit of a classic game. Not one that's top of my list to play, to be honest. Bit of a different era of gaming. But yeah, Silkworm, it says okay on there. Yeah, all looks good. Again, dirty and dusty, but fingers crossed that'll work. And then last but not least, let's have a look what this is. Oh, what was that? That was a bootleg, so Silkworm's bootleg. Last board, Konami boards, yay! Konami, and I think the serial number on it is 776573. And it's a Konami. Is there a number on there anyway to identify what game this is? So we've got 3 Konami boards now, and they're all the same, aren't they? Same kind of layout with these 2 boards. This one's got a different number on it. It says AIAM-2 PWB 352 359C. Will this give me any identification of what it was? I think the other 2 were possibly golf games. Is this the elusive Sunset Riders that should be in here? But I've got an original Sunset Riders compared it to, so original, another original board. Scratch that up. I don't know what the tally is, even how many boards I've gone through, or how many originals, how many bootlegs, and how many unknowns there are. So I'll go through that tally in a second on the screen. I'll put it up for you. But yeah, really pleased with that. So I don't know, I think it's over 30 games just by including those 2 MVS cards as well, boards as well. So yeah, really good pickup. So what I'm going to do with this is sort them out, put them somewhere tidy. I've got to try and sort a shelf. I think I'm going to do that in a second. Try and sort a shelf out, put everything up nice and neat, and then we'll do a bit of PCB roulette, I think, in the future. So I'll order them all in a number order. I'll put maybe a random generator, or let somebody pick a number between 1 and 30, and we'll pick a board and see if we can get it working. So cool. Thank you for watching. Sorry it's taken a little bit of a while to go through all of those, but hopefully if you got any interest in arcade gaming, whether you played arcades in the past when you were a young kid, maybe find it a little bit fascinating even if you're not into PCBs. I'm really chuffed. As you could probably tell, I'm stinking dirty. My nails are minging just from holding all these dusty boards. I need to go blow my nose because it's full of dust. But yeah, really pleased with that. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, obviously, if you're interested in following this through. There will be other things. I'm still working on the pinball machine, so this has got a lot of work going on in the background. I've got some Mega Drives to work on. I've got a PlayStation 5 to work on. I've got a new microscope set up. I've got to tidy this garage again. It's got loads going on, so please subscribe and watch out for the next video, and I'll be back soon. Catch you soon.